Okay, so we're out at Nash Run, which is a stream restoration project that the Department of Energy and Environment is about to undertake. We're about 200 feet from the top of the project area. Downstream of me is where most of the project work is going to take place. This is a tributary of the Anacostia River. Per linear foot, this is the trashiest stream that DC contributes to the Anacostia River, so we have the most amount of trash along the stream banks and in the stream of any stream that flows into the Anacostia River. So one of our primary objectives is to help control that trash. And of course, while we would love to do as much education as possible to keep people from littering and enforce the existing laws, people still litter. And so we're going to put upstream of where we're standing, we're going to put a trash trap, a band-along trash trap, a floating trash trap that will catch a lot of the trash that comes out of the outfall where this water comes from. So hopefully the trash that you see downstream of us, once this project is complete, will no longer be here, and we won't have new trash coming into the stream system, which is great because we have 23 property owners whose backyards, lead out to the stream, and they're not putting the trash in the stream. It's their neighbors in Maryland and the district that live upstream of here that are littering on the street, and all that litter gets washed into the storm drain and out into the stream. So we hope to make the stream an asset for folks. To my left is an eroded stream bank, and this is one of the biggest problems in the Anacostia River, is that our streams 200 years ago were used to no development and no impervious area. So the streams were really small streams because there wasn't that much surface flow coming into them. Most of the water, when it rained, would naturally infiltrate into the ground and would slowly make its way into the stream system. But since we've developed and we have streets, and all the runoff from streets in our homes goes into the storm drains on our corners, all that water gets conveyed down into this poor, tiny little stream. Since it hasn't rained recently, you can see it's a rather small stream. But when it rains, all that water from the streets, the highways, the rooftops comes into this stream channel. And so it's like a big fire hose of stormwater coming in here, and that water level rises up. And as you can see, the stream bank to my left, the stream itself starts eating away the stream bank, and it starts putting this soil into the stream, which is what causes the Anacostia River to get cloudy and muddy after rain events. And what happens then is, if the water's muddy, sunlight can't get down to the bottom of the river. And if sunlight can't get down to the bottom of the river, then the plants at the bottom of the river can't grow, because plants need sunlight. And if the plants can't grow, they don't provide food for fish, and they don't provide dissolved oxygen for fish. So if we don't have sunlight getting into the river, we're not going to have good fish, and we're not going to have clean water. So we need to prevent stream bank erosion like this so that we have a less cloudy river after storm events. So this project is going to reduce the amount of sediment that washes into the stream. It's estimated by our engineers that did the designs for this project that 32 tons of sediment each year leave this 1,400-foot stretch of stream and go to the Anacostia River just through bank erosion like that. So that's a lot of sediment that we're putting into the Anacostia River just from one small stream. And then further downstream, we're going to put in a new culvert. There's a church parking lot that goes over the stream, and we'll go down and take a look at that in a moment. When it was put in in the 1980s, the pipes that were used were undersized. And now what we've realized through our design process is that those undersized pipes create a flood risk for the neighbors who live around there. So too much water goes down and hits those pipes, and that water backs up and can get up onto the street. So we're going to put in a bigger pipe underneath the church parking lot to reduce the flood risk for neighbors that live nearby. At the end of this project, what you'll see is, as we're looking downstream, a lot of the vegetation that we see right here is not native. To my right, there's a lot of invasives. It's a vine called kudzu. And to my left, there's a lot of small shrubs and other invasive plants. What we hope to do is expand the floodplain area. So this is going to be a much wider stream corridor going through here, and we're going to plant it with native grasses and native shrubs and native flowers, so that there's almost going to be like a stream wetland complex running through here. And what we hope to do with that is we're going to bring back a lot of the terrestrial and aquatic species that normally thrive in stream corridors. Less than a quarter of a mile away from here is Kenilworth Marsh. This stream flows into Kenilworth Marsh, which is a huge tidal wetland on the Anacostia River. And so we hope to attract some of the fish and wildlife that make their home in Kenilworth Marsh. We hope that they come up to this area too, so that we can have a beautiful natural space, not just for the residents, but for some of the aquatic and terrestrial species that make streams and wetlands their home in the district. So we're here at the Nash Run Stream Restoration Project. We are in an area that's been finished in terms of the actual work, but it still needs planting. And what we've done in this area is we've done a lot of excavation work on both the right bank, which is to my left, and the left bank to my right, so that if you look at the stream here, this is a normal day, and as the stream's flowing through here, the stream stays within this 10-foot wide channel. But if it rains just a little bit, the stream level is going to rise. And when it rains and the stream starts flowing faster and has a higher velocity, that's when you get stream bank erosion. And what we've done is by excavating both the right and left banks, when that water level rises just a little bit, it's going to spread out over this whole floodplain area. So it'll be like a connected wetland along the stream. And as that water spreads out across the floodplain, it reduces the amount of pressure that's going to go against the stream banks on the right and left banks. So we're going to have less stream bank erosion from this stream, but we're also going to have this huge wide, 55-foot wide floodplain that's going to have native grasses and herbaceous plants and trees. So it'll be like a connected wetland to a stream channel. The other thing that you can see here, I mean, you can even see I'm not standing on the stream in the stream itself, but where I'm stepping right now, it's completely muddy. And that's because the water table is flowing underneath where we're standing. So once we put plants in here, they're really going to suck up that water, which is also going to act as a filter for the water that flows through the stream. Some of the other things that we've done in this project, and I can step out here, is I'm standing on this log, and it's what's called a log vein. And it adds stability to the channel, but what it also does is downstream of me is there's a pool. And so that's a little deeper depressional area that we created. And, you know, the deeper you go into a swimming pool, the cooler the water gets. And that's because the sunlight doesn't penetrate down as much, which means it stays cooler. And pools are where fish like to have habitat. So after this project is finished, we expect pools like this one will have small fish in it probably coming up from the Anacostia River. We've also added some of these larger stones like that I'm standing on, because that helps create a stable substrate. This stream's in the coastal plain area, which means it's a very sandy soil base, and we added these big stones to add some vertical stability to the stream, so the stream doesn't want to downcut anymore. And then if you look downstream, you can see our crew is still working further downstream. Okay, so we installed a Bandalong trash trap, which is it's a floatable trash trap. You can see that big culvert just upstream of me that comes underneath Kenilworth Avenue, 295, as it passes through the district. And essentially there's a 3/4 mile drainage area upstream of us that goes into Prince George's County on the other side of Eastern Avenue. It comes through the Deanwood neighborhood in the district, underneath the Deanwood Metro, and all the stormwater in that area comes out at this pipe. So any trash or debris that people put on the ground in the Deanwood neighborhood or on Eastern Avenue or in Prince George's County, it'll come out this pipe. And so we put this trash trap here so that we can catch and capture the floatable trash. And this is from a rainstorm earlier this week. You can see how many bottles have come through. So this trash trap is going to capture all that debris so it doesn't get into the Anacostia River downstream of us. We installed this, what's called a scour hole or a plunge pool, so that when that water comes out during a rainstorm and is really heavy, it has a hole, a depressional area that can help dissipate some of the energy of the stormwater coming out, but it also is a convenient place for the trash trap to float in. So we have the scour hole for two different purposes here. And then from downstream of us, hopefully then we'll have this nice connected floodplain wetland along the stream. The trash trap will have regular maintenance on it, and basically what we'll have is we'll hire or contract with a group to come out and manually maintain this trash trap. So that means putting on waders. This scour hole that the trash trap sits in is only about 3 feet deep, which is fairly deep, but people will be able to walk across the rocks and then manually using nets scoop out the bottles and trash, and then they can haul that away. So the maintenance will be on a regular basis, checking up on it every week, and then right after rainstorm. So if it rains twice in a week, we'll need to maintain it twice in a week. So behind me you can see what the stream project looks like during construction. Where the stones are, those are the stones to provide stability to the substrate of the stream channel itself. So what happens is we press them into the ground and then fill some dirt in to fill in the voids in between the stones, so that it's a pretty flat bottom. And then upstream you can see an area that hasn't been worked in. So doing stream restoration work is not always pretty. Sometimes it's pretty messy when you're doing it, but post-restoration there's always a long-term gain from what you're doing. What we're essentially trying to do is restore our streams in the urban environment. And 400 years of development in the District of Columbia has put our streams into poor shape. And so what we're trying to do is recreate our streams so that they can adapt and be healthy given the current urban conditions that they're supposed to be operating in. You can look just downstream of this rock area and you can see one of the log veins that they put in. So essentially we're just using some trees to help provide stability. But the trees also will be a carbon source for the stream long term, which as those trees sit in the stream bed or in the floodplain bench, it'll help absorb nitrogen in the stream, and nitrogen is one of the bigger pollutants in the Chesapeake Bay. So by helping to accelerate denitrification in the Nash Run stream, we're also helping protect the Chesapeake Bay. So behind me we're installing 2 new culvert pipes. Before the project there was a parking lot for the church that extended over the stream, and the 2 pipes that were conveying the stream underneath the parking lot, we determined in the design process were undersized. So what was happening is they were creating a backwatering effect, which meant in heavy rains the water would be plastered up against the end wall and the pipes, and it could potentially put people on Polk Street at flood risk. And when we learned that in the design process, we wanted to try to alleviate that problem long term. And so we met with the church leaders and asked them if we could install a new pipe underneath their parking lot that would convey more water underneath the parking lot during storm events, which would thus prevent the backwatering process and then take those properties out of flood risk. So right now what our contractor's doing is installing 2 new pipes. There's 1 large oval pipe and a smaller circular pipe, which is going to be able to convey large storm events underneath the parking lot without creating a backwatering effect. So they're installing those pipes now. Probably by the end of next week, they'll then put the parking lot back on top of the 2 pipes. So across the stream channel from where we are now, you can see a new soil mix that's being put on top of the stream, and that's our topsoil mix. So it has some sand, it has some clay, and it has a lot of organic material, and that's what we're using as our base for all of our plantings. A lot of the soil out here was just pure sand, and there was still a lot of trash. So we had to import some soil so that our plants and our seed mixes would have a good base to grow from. So you can see they're spreading about a 6-inch layer of the topsoil mix on the bottom of the channel, and about a 4-inch layer of the topsoil mix going up the slopes. Here you can see the little pools. Those are the pools where, over the course of the project, is where we'll have fish habitat. So there'll be deeper pools that help dissipate energy, but it's also in non-rain events where the fish are going to hang out, and when they come up from the Anacostia River. So you can already see the pools have been formed through the construction project. So we're at the Nash Run Stream Restoration Project, where we've completed the project. We've done all of the stream bank grading. We've done all the planting. We've planted 99 canopy trees, over 100 shrubs, and over 1,000 herbaceous plants and native grasses to the area. And what we now have is a restored floodplain bench, so that when the water level rises, it spreads out over the whole floodplain, so it'll both water our plants, but it also dissipates the energy of the stream, so we'll have less pressure and less stream bank erosion throughout the 1,400-foot stretch of stream restoration. Off to my other side, we have the trash trap, which is collecting all of the floatable trash that comes from a 3/4 of a mile watershed area that drains into Nash Run. So we're catching all of that debris on the from the watershed in this trash trap, and then we have a crew that's maintaining it and will empty the trash after rainstorms. One of the nice things that we've seen, we just finished now, and this pool where this trash trap is, unfortunately we do have the trash trap, but we've had a lot of fish showing up in this pool, and we've also had snapping turtles and box turtles come. And in the 5 years prior to this project happening, I never saw snapping turtles or box turtles up this far in the stream reach. So it's nice to start seeing both fish come back, but also other wildlife into this area.